Hi Gemini, how are you all doing? So I'm going to be doing your February 2021 reading, and we're going to be looking at some of the key important dates for this month in particular. For Gemini, I really feel this month is going to be about change and expressing that change. So we'll kind of be looking at, the logistics of that and the messages that come through. If this doesn't resonate, maybe watch your rising sign, because sometimes I find that the rising sign and the sun sign together really give a good overview of what is happening. Actually, in ancient times, they used to use the rising sign instead of the sun sign, and actually for me, I find that it's actually more accurate. So sometimes maybe that is a good thing if it doesn't resonate. If it doesn't resonate at all, go and watch one that does resonate. It's totally fine. So let's get a message for Gemini. Sweet Gemini. I actually had a friend who made a song called Sweet Gemini, and every time I say that, I always think of it. Don't waste my time, sweet Gemini. Your masquerade is over. It wasn't a particularly good song, but it was just catchy. So funny that Temperance card came out, because I just think like, oh yes, this month is going to be particular for Geminis who are really into education, like teaching, delivering a seminar, for example, or being a guest speaker for somebody. But the sense, again, as I mentioned about personal growth, learning, hangman, yeah, transitions to change, exactly. Definitely think this month is really all about change, but in a very good way. Personal growth, wanting to move forward a little bit more, definitely. Not feeling so tired now, feeling, again, more motivated. Actually, if you're studying, you're in education, taking part in events or alumni events as well with that Temperance card, like I said, guest speaking a little bit. Hard work, yeah. A lot of hard work and success from that hard work again. So again, if you Geminis are into education, really good sign of putting the hard work in, if you're like doing an academic paper, for example. I think that's really good as well. Six of Swords, yeah, making new plans again, because you're on this part of changing and doing something a little bit different to everybody else. I'm kind of wanting to travel as well, but I don't really see travel as part of this. I think you're wanting to travel, but you're not going to be able to, not just because of Corona, but because in your chart for Gemini, travel's just not really the thing at the moment. Okay, there's too many that fell out, but that one did stay in my hand, so I'll take that one. I don't know why I always get cards chucked at me in that way, because it's very irritating. But sometimes it's like, hey, let me throw all these things at you. Interpret 20 cards. That'll be fun. Okay, let's look at this then. I think it's so interesting about that Temperance card, because specifically for Gemini, this month is really about blending the masculine with the feminine, and that's actually in your chart. This element of not wanting to be a fool, but also just wanting to have that balance. You're not really wanting to walk off the cliff. You're not really wanting to run back off the cliff either. I think at one point maybe you guys did feel a little bit like you're wanting to take the jump. Again, wanting to have these, wanting to travel and have this success, but thinking, okay, not sure how to do that with the Seven of Swords. So I think you're really coming to a point of blending things together in a really nice way. And the only way that you're able to achieve that balance and that kind of beautiful yin and yang experience is by transitioning and changing. So the Hanged Man here in upright is all about, again, I think perhaps you felt that you were stagnating, and so you're wanting to move forward again, make new plans. Specifically, as I mentioned, this Six of Swords is all about making new plans. It's actually really, these two together really work, okay? So Six of Swords is all kind of travel, and Seven of Swords is kind of about travel too, but is really more about new plans. I kind of find them to be quite ubiquitous, and that they're kind of similar, but there is some subtle differences. So with the Seven of Swords, for me, for example, that is, again, great success with things like dreams, like fantasy, manifestations, also being able to attempt through something that may be difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult, could just be that you're putting a lot of hard work in. Again, we see that with the Seven of Pentacles. We see you putting in the hard work and reaping the rewards, wanting to make new plans, pushing yourself a little bit more than you ever thought you could be, if that makes sense. You know, this King of Pentacles, feeling very responsible and mature, you know, you're taking hold of your finances this month in particular. There is a subtle thing with some of you guys that are really interested in not becoming famous, but kind of making your mark on the world a bit more when it comes to, you know, media. Those two work really well for you guys this month. Kind of working on your self-image, okay? And again, this might be linked to if you guys are interested in education, becoming an academic with this Temperance card. You know, being able to deliver a seminar, be a guest speaker, do a podcast for somebody. In some way or another, you are delivering education or inspiration to somebody. You're using your valuable skills to help people, okay? And that in itself is kind of part of the personal growth that I see for you guys this month, because we have a very specific feeling linked to that with this Four of Cups in reverse as well. You know what I mentioned about not feeling stationary now? So this in reverse is basically all about movement. We're not really feeling as demotivated as we once were. Again, there's a sense of, even though the Fool card isn't in this spread, I feel that the Fool comes through in the fact that you need to keep pushing yourselves and being spontaneous and moving, okay? Specifically if you have Sagittarius placements in your chart as well. So the Four of Cups in reverse kind of suggests wanting to move a little bit more. And again, this is part of that hard work and success, okay? You're motivated to put the hard work in this month because you know it's going to reap the rewards, okay? You're actually probably feeling more creative as well with this King of Cups. You're feeling more creative, okay? And actually, you're just taking control of your life. And that's because of this transition. You're taking control of your life with a real change. And it's really nice to see. Okay, it's really nice to see. It's important as well because, again, we've got two kings here, King of Pentacles and King of Cups. So you're not only mastering your self-image and your emotions, but you're also mastering your finances and the way that the world perceives you, okay? And when I say self-image and the way the world perceives you, you might think, actually, isn't that the same thing? But the way that you see yourself and your self-image is a lot different to the way the world perceives you. The world may perceive you in a certain way because of your class or your status, your job, what you bring to the world. But you, your self-image, may be relying on your looks or actually your emotions that you bring to the table that maybe the rest of the world don't see. Hope that makes sense. Self-image and the way the world perceives you is different, although they are linked together. That's why there's two kings here. But also, king energy is that idea of being able to take control of your life, okay? So an element of self-control here. So you guys are going to be making a decision in one way or another, probably linked to making the new plans with the Seven of Swords. You know, that's really all what that's about. It's really kind of being able to, again, attempt through things. It's so interesting, as I mentioned, that these two cards both mean attempt, really, attempting through something. And I think that's actually because you will be attempting this change. You know, you'll be attempting something very special, probably because you felt bored and you felt stagnated, and so you're trying to move out of that a little bit. It's like, ooh, let's move around a little bit. And then we've got Knight of Cups in reverse as well, which I think is quite interesting because, again, this is no movement. This is kind of like a journey into advancement that has been halted. So this is why I mentioned the Fool card in the past, I think, because we have this element of feeling a little bit like I can't stay where I am. I have to move. I have to change, you know. Something has to make you feel like you need to do this, okay? And it's like, ooh, I'm stagnating, I need to move. This is a lesson that you will learn as well. This is a lesson that you will learn, whether it's somebody that teaches you that lesson or whether it's yourself. You will learn something very important from this. And I think it's just, you know, these cards really all link together, and it's a suggestion of needing to change something. If you guys are interested in love, I'll pull a love card. If you're not, obviously just, you know, ignore this part. But I think it's interesting when I get cards about no movement, it's always a suggestion that people aren't getting what they want from love. I don't really see a lot of love cards here in particular, but because we have Cups energy, I will do that. okay, situation involves marriage. This doesn't always mean like marriage. This to me is commitment. So we are moving closer to getting that kind of love we deserve or want for people that, you know, are struggling with romance at the moment. Finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. Yeah, it's almost like there's a need for stability here, and as I mentioned that with this Pentacles energy, King of Pentacles, there is a need for stability in every area of your life. And you know, this is an air energy, which is actually very logical, and it's almost like you need somebody to ground you, because if not, you get lost in fantasy. And there's a reason I mention that, because the fantasy comes through in that Seven of Swords. You know, these two air energies, it's like I'm lost in the need to want to change. I still need to stay grounded, okay? Because otherwise we're going to be Mary Poppins floating into the sky, you know? So we need to have that foundation, stability. And we want, you know, we want that from our career, we want that from our love. And, you know, if we can have both, brilliant, you know? If we can have both of them, that's amazing. So yes, in particular, changing things. I suppose what I really get from this as well is to try not to have fights over money this month in particular. I really see for Gemini this month that communication is great. You know, you're a great talker this month. People really want to hear you. Again, with this Temperance card, and I mentioned about giving guest lectures or whatever. People want to hear what you have to say. You know, you're very important. Your opinion and your voice matters. People want to hear that. Okay? And in particular, in love, you know, don't be afraid to voice your opinion, but don't be wary of pushing it too far. Okay? So for some of you, I think you're going to be investing into something, putting a lot of your resources into something, specifically with that finances and career and this Pentacles energy, this King of Pentacles, this Seven of Pentacles. There is an element of investing in something. It doesn't have to be like in a stock or a share, for example, but it could be just investing in your health, for example. Health looks really good for this month, but in particular, I think it's going to be, you know, really looking at how we can change our lives to fit our purpose. So your North Node is very interesting this month, visiting your 11th house, I believe. So it's going to be partly you thinking, how can I change my life to fit my life's purpose? And also, how can I, you know, really understand myself more? And I think that is linked to the finances and career and the commitment that you want from love, for example. I think there's a real sense of beautiful things happening. And I mentioned that I didn't see a lot of travel coming for you, but I think if you live near an ocean in particular, please go and visit the ocean. That is definitely coming through, specifically with that Six of Swords. Please do visit the ocean if you can, if you're near it. Don't flout lockdown rules, but if you're near an ocean and you can get there, visit it. Be in the water. There's a sense of being around the water will help cleanse you. It will help bring on new emotions that you didn't really realise were there. They're kind of hidden underneath the surface, for example. There's a great metaphor with the ocean that it brings things to the surface. You know, the tide brings things to the shore. So there's a sense of really looking inside yourself this month. I know it's really annoying because I do a lot of these readings and I feel like I'm always saying this, and I know people watch them and think, well, I've been working on myself all the time. You don't get to not work on yourself, just as you don't get to not suffer. You know, you experience great moments in between, but you never get to just take a break and not learn stuff about yourself. There is a sense of learning, again, and maybe venturing is part of that. For some of you, you're planning holidays and adventures, and again, with that Fool card that I have in the past in my head, I feel that you are wanting to you know, venture on something really exciting, and you're wanting to change and get some movement, and that's going to be part of what you're planning in particular. I also think you're going to be more intuitive than you have been, especially with that King of Cups. I think you're going to be definitely feeling, you know, the signs from the universe. You're going to be feeling very, really just personal power, feeling within yourself. But also, I definitely think that you're going to be feeling a bit more focused on the home again, like I mentioned with the finances and career. But on the 23rd of February, you're going to be focused a lot more on your home environment. Okay, so maybe that involves cleaning, you know, just having a real whip round, and that could just be, you know, going around your house with a plastic bin bag and clearing the clutter, you know, making sure everything has clarity. But also it could just be cozying up with friends and family If you have got romance in your life, definitely taking a really nice long weekend away maybe. I really see the 16th and 17th of February being important dates for Gemini. So maybe take a long extended weekend away if you can, or if you can actually go away, maybe just place, in your home. Just do something special that really shows that you care and that you love that person, because there is a connection to be felt here. I also think that you're going to be rejecting male figures trying to tell you what to do this month in particular. I think you're going to be leaning more towards feminine figures in your life. Someone that, a female figure that just gives you a little bit more perspective on your life, and maybe thinking, okay, because maybe in the past you've had male figures in your life tell you what to do and you've been like, yeah, don't want to listen to you right now, I don't want to hear it. So I definitely think that's going to be a part of your month. I also just see a very nice calming mood as well for this month. So you're just wanting to feel calm, again, wanting to feel balanced and have that nice mix between the feminine and the masculine. This is a gorgeous card for Sagittarius as well. So I mentioned about the Sagittarius placements with the Fool, but also for the Temperance as well. So if you do have any Sagittarius placements, maybe check that as well, just to kind of see the mix between the two, because I know that Sagittarius this month in particular, because it's my sign, so I know a lot about it, is going to be really about reflecting and being a bit more spiritual and intuitive. And like I say, with that King of Cups, we definitely have that. So Gemini, that was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I hope you have an amazing February, and thanks for watching.